Yo guys, Tom Kiddiston from TK Total Fitness, home of the 8-week Total Transformation Project. Right, what I'm doing today is I'm going to make this video for you because we have just literally yesterday started a competition, an 8-week transformation competition for our fitness camp clients, and me being the leader that I am, and always wanting to get involved and to kind of help motivate my clients and practice what I preach, really. Why would anyone listen to me if I didn't do what I'm asking them to do? So, yeah, we're doing a transformation competition, and this is just really, I feel it's a really suitable time of year for this. It's going to give people that extra drive just to really, pump them up and get moving towards, summer bodies, basically, and getting the best results they can in the lead up to the summer. So, it's going to lead us up to June. And what I'm doing in this video today, I just want to really take the time out to kind of tell you what I'm going to do for this transformation. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is what you should do by any means. If you are currently in a good place with your nutrition and sticking to what you're doing and getting results from it, then by all means you should continue doing that for sure. However, if you might take a little bit away from this. If you are at a place with your nutrition when you feel like you could almost take it up a gear, then you may take a little away from what I'm going to say. So you may find it useful, you may not, but there you go. It might not be for everyone. So I'm just going to run you through what I'm doing as opposed to what I kind of normally do, okay? So ordinarily I'll eat clean the vast majority of the time. Okay, when I say eat clean, like gluten-free, eating enough protein. So generally speaking, my food is, pretty good. Obviously, I'm no saint, so I'll drink at the weekend sometimes, and I'll eat off track sometimes as well. But for the most part, my food is reasonably good. So I don't really implement any sort of strict portion control as such currently. So that is something that I'm going to I am changing starting yesterday. I'm going on a fasting protocol, so a loose 16-8 intermittent fasting protocol. If you've heard of intermittent fasting, it basically is pretty much a glorified way of just saying that I'm going to skip breakfast and not eat anything after dinner. So my first meal will come, it depends on the day, but loosely I eat within an 8-hour window and I stop eating for the rest of the time. So in an ideal world, it would be I start eating at 12 and I finish eating at 8 every day, but my workday dictates that that's not always going to be the case. So I basically will do my best to stick to eating within an 8-hour window, and that for me is a really practical way to employ some degree of calorie deprivation. I would say, like I say, I never usually I'm sensible with portion sizes, but I never count calories. I don't use my fitness pal to track my calories. I don't use hand, fist measurements, anything to address how much I'm eating. I just, I train hard multiple times a week and I eat clean for the majority of the time. So this fasting thing is I've experimented with it a few times before, and it's always worked for me before, and it's not something I do all year round, but for sure, in the lead up to, in this instance, for this transformation competition, it's 8 weeks. I'm prepared to, go for it. In the lead up to a holiday or a time where I really want to up the gears, so to speak, and just, do what I need to do in order to just shed a little body fat and get, see progress, basically. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And, I believe there's a few of our fitness campers that are experimenting with this as well. Women, if they're doing it, they want to generally go work with a 15-9 window. So they would eat 9 hours and not eat 15. Like I say, all that means to me is I'm going to skip breakfast and I won't eat anything after my evening meal, after dinner. And one thing that I do with this, again, this is something that I'm going to kind of change, is when I'm doing the fasting protocol, I will utilise BCAAs more so than I normally would, okay? So BCAAs are branched chain amino acids, and a simplistic view to these is that they are pretty much a calorie-free version of protein. Not quite as simple as that, but basically, if you're in a fasted state and you're low carb, which I'm going to be doing as well, I'll come on to that in a minute, and you're reasonably low calorie, you are in a prime fat burning state, your body's in a prime fat burning state, but it will also, you know, break down muscle as a result of that, you know, break down muscle as well as breaking down body fat. So the BCAAs pretty much offset that and go against muscle breakdown. So they just help you kind of maintain muscle mass whilst burning fat and whilst being in that state of calorie deprivation or a calorie deficit, which is important, right? Muscle is so important. You obviously want to maintain muscle while you're burning fat anyway, because particularly in my case, you want to, you know, stay looking lean. You don't want to get really small. And also, as always, you know, muscle is massively beneficial. You know, it controls the speed of metabolism, and in terms of sustainability and, you know, getting and staying in shape, muscle is your friend. Boys, girls, it doesn't matter. Okay, women, don't be afraid of muscle. It works for everyone. So yeah, that's the first thing I'm really going to be doing, fasting, okay? So again, you know, I'll say it loosely, I won't stick strictly to the guidelines, it depends on my working day, but that's one thing I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be fasting, and I am also going to be utilising the BCAAs more so than I normally would. So what I'll do is I'll take them, the BCAAs first thing in the morning, I will take them pre-training as well, and I will take them in the evening before I go to bed. So 3 times a day, okay? I'll be training 6 times a week, I'll try my best to it. You know, sometimes life happens, maybe it'll be 5, but I'm going to try my best to stick to these, right? Try my best to stick to 6 times a week. Also, I will go lower carb than I generally do, okay? So, I mean, usually I will, well, up until this point, up until kind of yesterday, I have carbs in my post-training shake, which consists of, it's been consistent of dextrose, maltodextrin, and in terms of quantities, I think I'll be going 75 grams of them combined. So 75 grams of high GI carbohydrates post-training, and also 50 grams of instant oats in the shake as well. So I've been going, yeah, 125 grams of carbs post-training, which is quite a large amount. And then, generally speaking, when I come home, usually works out to be about an hour and a half later, I'll include carbs in my meal then as well. So it could be, you know, various different things. Sometimes I'll just eat a bowl of cereal. Sometimes I will have, I don't know, sweet potatoes, anything like that, okay? But what I'm going to do now is I will still stick to some high GI carbs post-training in my shake, which would just be 50 grams, so 25 grams of dextrose, 25 grams of maltodextrin is just high GI carbs, okay? And then I will have like a post-training carb meal once per week, so like a whole food carb meal once per week. And you know, I'm going to do that for a few weeks, and then as we get into this transformation competition, if like 4 weeks in I'm not kind of shedding as much body fat as I'd like to, then I may lose the post-training carbs, the dextrose and the maltodextrin in the post-training shake, okay? And the reason I stick to, you know, carbs once a week is just to make sure that I'm not in too much of a catabolic state, you know, so breaking down massive amounts of muscle. So just keeping the tank, you know, topped up, but still, you know, in that prime state for fat burning, because it's still going to be really low carbs. Plus, carbs post-training once a week, if you are being really strict, helps to kind of regulate hunger and keeps your hormones in balance as well. So there's numerous benefits to what they call a carb refeed once a week, okay? So I believe that is all I'm going to be doing. Also, what I'm going to be doing, I have not been that good with like getting cardiovascular intervals on the end of my training sessions, which is what I'd normally do. I haven't been doing it up until this point. My training sessions, is, you know, they're always cut short. They have to be massively efficient. I have like 45 minutes to an hour tops training, and that's including like warming up and stretching and this, that and the other. So I'm going to make a massive effort to get at least 3 times a week of intervals on the end of my regular training sessions, okay? My training sessions don't really vary too much. I mean, I would change, like, I'll never get stagnant and complacent, so I'll change rep ranges, but my training is always fairly efficient, fairly high intensity, like always working in supersets, so the heart rate is always up anyways. But like I say, you know, in times when I'm kind of like doing what I can to, you know, shed a bit of body fat, I will, you know, do my best to chuck intervals on the end. So I'm going to get at least 3, you know, sets of intervals on the end per week of my regular training sessions. So I believe that's it. I think that's it. Like I say, this isn't going to necessarily be helpful for everyone. You may not find it helpful at all. But this is, and I know it's me just kind of talking about myself here, but it's hopefully, you know, you will be able to take something away from it. Like I say, if you're already at a stage, or you're kind of currently at a stage where you are, you know, feeling good with the way that things are going, and you're sticking to, you know, a good food plan, and you're sticking to a good exercise plan, and you're seeing results from what you're doing, and you know you're making progress at a speed that you're happy with, then by all means, you know, crack on with that. This isn't a video that's kind of, you know, going to appeal to everyone, or that any, you know, someone might not find useful at all, but you may find a few bits useful. So just one more time to recap on what I'm going to do. I'm going lower carb than I generally would, sticking to a post-training carb meal once a week, and 50 grams of high GI carbs in my post-training shake. I am going to get at least 3 sets of, or 3 days of cardiovascular intervals or HIIT training on the end of my existing training sessions. I'm going to try and stick, well, I'll try my best, my utmost, and I probably will do this, to be honest. I mean, 5 or 6 ideally training sessions a week, and I am going to employ the fasting method to calorie restriction. So there's loads of ways to restrict calories, right? I never recommend counting them at all, to be honest. But you can use the kind of like the palm fist method to portion size even, and you can, you know, there's different fasting protocols as well. 5-2, eat, stop, eat. There's a few different routes to take. Me personally, I know I couldn't handle anything other than the 16-8, because 5-2, you know, not eating or barely eating for an entire day for me is far too much already. Like with what I do with the 16-8, sometimes I'll eat at 11 and finish at 7 as opposed to 12, because if I'm sitting at home and I'm working and all I can think about is food, it's not doing me any good at all. So like I say, I take a really simplistic approach to things, okay? I don't get hung up on details. I don't get stressed out if I'm not going to be able to eat within these exact certain hours. Like, you know, if my working day dictates that I can't do something at a certain time, you know, I will skip, in a simple form, in the simplest like way to think about it is I will skip breakfast and I will eat nothing after dinner. That's it. So that's all I'm going to do, okay? I've experimented with this sort of stuff before. I've done the fasting before, and it's always worked well for me before. You know, like I said, hopefully you can take something away from this video. If you can't, then just, you know, stick to what you're already doing. If you can, then great. I hope it really helps you push forwards. And, you know, if you're one of our current fitness camp clients, and just do your best with this. I'm obviously like doing this with you, and, you know, and I'm a big believer in, you know, practicing what I preach and doing what I say. So we're all in this together. If you do have any questions about what I've just talked about, or you'd like to know kind of, you know, more information on what I've spoke about in this video, just chuck a comment in the box below, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. That's Tom out. Thanks a lot.